right? What we had in the last class. Forgotten already.
Motion and force, ma'am.
Yeah, right. So motion and force, that is what we were started to see, and we saw all the things in motion part, right? So today we'll be seeing about force. Okay. So what and all in the force part we can see, we'll see. So right. Okay, I hope my screen is visible for you. Right, kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Right. What do we know about force, first of all? Already we've been
Ma'am,
through
it is a push or pull, ma'am.
correct push or pull something. No? Right. And what else points that we have already gathered can be put into that? It's a push or pull. Correct? First one. Then right? What else can say? Anything related to force. Any formulas for force?
Ma'am, F is equal to MA.
F is equal to mg.
Right? Both are correct. F is equal to ma or mg. Okay. Then anything to add more on force?
Its SI unit is Newton, ma'am.
SI unit is Newton. Correct. Okay. So these are some things which we already know. We can put it in the force. So that is what we are going to see, and we'll see more about force and how it is being applied in some parts. Okay, how it has been branched, and all we see today. So to begin with, what is a force? It is an effort that changes the state of an object. We can say it in this form also. Okay, it's simply that it's changed the state of an object if it is applied on an object. Okay, so object at rest or at motion, and it can change an object's direction and velocity, and force can also change the shape of an object. So this is a good definition for state to define everything what a force can do, and simply it can be told as push or pull. Okay, so this is what a force is, and in this force what we can say is there are two types. One is balanced and another one is unbalanced forces. Okay, so here balanced forces are like this picture you can see. Okay, when there is a applied force on both the sides in equal amount to the opposite direction, so like this, then what will happen, both the forces on the either side will subside each other. Then no force will be there, like the net force or the total force out the object. Okay, there will be no force there. So that we call it as a balanced force, where okay, so whatever force is being applied there, okay, no net effect will be there, okay, showed out. So when balanced forces are applied to an object, there will be no net effective force acting on the object. Okay, so you can't get out any productive what to say, any productive result from that object after being applying that force itself. Okay, so this is what balanced force, and balanced forces do not cause a change in the motion. So this is what balanced force. And the unbalanced force means when one of the forces is more than the other one. So then your object will incline to the force which is having a higher magnitude. Okay, like where like this picture shows. Okay, where the force is more, then the people in the other place will come to this place. So such a kind of motion regarding to the highest magnitude force will happen there. So this is what unbalanced force. Acting on an object, change its speed or direction of motion. It moves in the direction of the force with the highest magnitude. So this is what unbalanced forces. All clear with what is balanced, unbalanced forces?
Ma'am, once again, like, can you revise it, ma'am?
Right? Okay. See, balanced forces are nothing but consider that this picture will be an example for that. Okay, when two kind of forces is being applied on the same rope, you take the rope as the object and forces being applied by these kids on the rope. Okay, so when these forces is being applied and this rope is not changed its position, let's say this is the position, okay, which is referred from this ground point. This position, this point of the rope is not being changed because both the sides of force is equal. So then what you can say is, if such a thing is happening means, uh, you can get a perception that there has no force has been applied there itself. You can get a perception like that also, but actually a force has been applied, but that force is being balanced with another force, and so no outcome has been seen by you. So such a kind of action or such a kind of force, we call it as balanced force, where no, change of motion will be happening. Okay? The balanced force do not cause a change in motion. Okay, this is what balanced is, and the unbalanced is opposite to this. Okay, where you can find the change in the motion. Okay, like pushing a table. Okay, pushing a table or pushing any object, so as it gives you a change in the direction or a change in the motion, that you call it as unbalanced force. The outcome is being expressed explicitly. Clear, Annabelle?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll move ahead now. Okay, everyone, take a notes of this slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay, we'll move. So now, even inside this, okay, inside this balanced and unbalanced forces, there is something called contact force and non-contact force, another type of variation in your forces. Okay, so force is a physical cause that can change the state of motion or the dimension of an object. Okay, so in such a way you can tell your force, and that force is being separated like contact and non-contact forces. So contact force, by the name itself you can predict it. Okay, it's nothing but where your object and the force giving object, okay, the reacting object and your force, where the force is given, the resource object, let's say. Okay, both of them are in the contact to each other. So see here, the forces that act on a body either directly or through a medium are called contact forces. The force is directly being projected on the body, or it is being projected with the help of another body. Means like, uh, I'm keeping a box and I'm keeping a pencil in my hand. With that pencil I'm moving that box, then it means that is also a contact force because all of them are in contact. So such forces are called as contact forces. Okay, so here are some example for contact forces. Muscular force. Muscular force means obviously you will be this, even the pencil, moving the pencil is a contact force, that is also a muscular force. Okay, so such a way any muscular activity you're doing with any object, that you call it as muscular force. Then mechanical force, here you see you're pulling it. Okay, there's something happening, right, in this way, so that you call it as mechanical force. So you're doing something mechanically, it is being applied, that you call it as mechanical force, not your whole muscular strength is being applied, right? Even like this, just pulling it. Okay, here also a bit of muscular force is being applied. Okay, like when you rotate something, rotate a pulley, like that, uh, some such kind of forces when you take, they are called as mechanical forces, where mechanically your force is being applied. And frictional force is also a contact force. You see, this force is being applied here in this position. Okay, here it is a muscular force, but here it is a mechanical force. And you see here, you will be applying your force here, okay, some kind of force you'll be applying in this direction, but the place of contact is with the wheels, and there is a force being applied, okay, force is being shown for you, and such a way you can say that there are frictional forces happening, okay, such that it is moving, your body is moving in contact of a surface. Okay, we'll see no deliberately about this frictional force in the later class, okay, in the later slides, but these are all some example of your contact force. So are you getting some idea about this contact force?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you give any other example away from this muscular, mechanical, and frictional force, any other force that is a contact force? Any other force that you have experienced before, that you are aware of?
Contact force, ma'am.
Yeah, contact. In contact, I told you three of them: muscular, mechanical, and frictional. There are some more also. So any other that you know? Okay, Hardika joined already. It's good.
Ma'am, I joined, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, kidding, Hardika. Right? No, nothing comes to your mind? Maybe you might not be knowing the names, but let me say, okay, there are some other forces also. Okay, we'll go for the screen. Then if I explain means you will be getting to know, okay, these forces are also there, kind of. No, you'll be realizing them. So the next force which you can say is, we saw about frictional already, right? Yeah. Next is tension force. Anywhere heard about this tension? Not the tension of your mind, okay?
I'm like pressuring them. I'm like
Pressure, okay. But where this tension will be?
Compression, ma'am. Compressing something means wishing
Ma'am, when
attention.
we stretch and compress it, ma'am, or compress and stretch it, there is tension created, ma'am.
Right? So kind of stretching. So those places you can have this tension force. So like to
I'm like
say,
rubber, mom.
yeah, like rubber. Okay, when you stretch it, there a tension force will be appearing there. Okay, so in that rubber you'll be having, or a rope, anything you stretch. Okay, so there you can find your tension force applying. Right, this force is directed along the length of wire, or pulls equally on the objects on the opposite ends of the wire. So when a wire is being there like this, okay, when the force is being applied in this way, okay, here what force will be there? If let's say Ashna and Annabelle are there in both the sides, and they are going to pull, so what is this force in these places?
Tension force, huh?
Not like tension force won't be there in this place. See, this place, okay, where Ashna is holding her hand on this side of rope, and here Annabelle is holding, okay, then both of them started to stretch, and what force is there in this place and this place?
Muscular force, ma'am.
Right, it is muscular force. There it will be muscular force, but you see this tension force will be on the rope. Here on the over the rope, the tension force will be, when you start to pull, okay, some kind of force will be experienced by the rope in it, okay, inside that there will be a force experience, so that you call it as tension force. Right, clear with the tension force, how it
Yes,
is
mom.
there?
Yes, mom.
Yeah, so this is what tension force is. And next one is normal force. This also you might have heard. Normal force. Where this normal force will be coming?
Ma'am, like to the ma'am, like contact with the surface, ma'am. Like
Contact.
keeping a book in the table, like that.
Yeah, that's an example. Okay,
The
that's
balance force, ma'am.
a balance force. Yeah, you can say in that way also. So normal force is something like, if this is a table and if I'm facing a box or anything, okay, or this is a pavement and I'm placing something over that. So there your gravitational pull will be there, right? So we'll see gravitation also much more clearly, but you have already had gravitation in satellites, no, in the separate chapter. So you will be very much clear about this. So here a pull will be there, that is mg, nothing but, okay, when such a pull being applied here, okay, so to make it, stable there, such a pull which is being applied by the gravitation, right? So to make it stable there, another force will be applied on this, okay, which will be upward by this table or this pavement. That you call it as normal, or else most of the time it is being mentioned like this, okay, which is opposite to your mg. Okay, can anyone say what is happening in this place? When your mg acting on this side and on your normal force acting on this side, what is happening here?
Ma'am, it is balanced, ma'am.
Yeah, it is balanced. Okay, they cancel each other and they'll get balanced. So this is also a balanced force example. Okay, not that two forces need to be there. Okay, like even a sitting object, a resting object can be used for a balanced force. Okay, so this is how your normal force will act. Okay, nothing but your table being exerting some force over your object being placed. That is what your normal force is. Where else you can experience this force? Any idea of that?
Ma'am, when an object is placed at rest.
When an object is placed as rest, right? Okay, so everywhere you can see this, right? When you're walking and when you do some activities in contact with, where your mg is acting, okay, there and all you can say this normal is also acting. Okay, so wherever you find mg you will be having normal also. So this is what normal forces. Okay, we'll move for the next force. Now next is air resistance force. Air resistance force. So where this air resistance force will be coming?
Ma'am, is it like friction, ma'am, opposite to air?
Not friction, you won't say about friction. Okay, but see, this air resistance forces, it won't be much employed in your normal common terms. Okay, where you will be seeing this means when you are employed with the air. Okay,
Ma'am, is it like weightlessness, ma'am?
no, not weightlessness. Air resistance force means, see, when you run fast, okay, or when you move in a vehicle, okay, you are going for 100 kilometer speed now. Okay, maybe let's say, okay, you should not go, let's say just 80 kilometers is the highest. Okay, so let's say we are going in that speed and you can experience some air being coming to our face, right? Because without wearing helmet you'll start to close your eyes. Such kind of things will start to happen in your face. You can't resist that force. So that is what your air resistance force. Okay, something which will be resisted by the air. Okay, when it is having some velocity. Okay, when that object is having some velocity or when your air is having some velocity, whatever the case will be, but it is having something there. Okay, so with the air, okay, when an object is being moved in the air, some force, even when you move your hand like this, okay, there you can experience a force. Okay, that is what your air resistance force is. So nothing but simple where your air and your object is being employed, a force you can experience there. That is what your air resistance is. And where this can be crucial to be employed. Any idea for this?
Ma'am, in planes, ma'am.
Correct. In exactly, okay. In airlines or in rockets, okay, in rocket science. So those places are this air resistance force plays an important major role, because all the factors they do, okay, all the factors they do in the aircrafts are resist this air resistance force. Okay, they'll, in fighter jets and all, if you have seen, means like, have you heard about fighter jets?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, you are familiar with that. So there and all, it won't be the same case as a transport where you're having, the commercial flights. So they will be slim, and they'll be, the shape will also be changed somewhat, all that for to resist, no, to reduce this air resistance. If more air is, resisted by more space, then your speed will be reduced. Okay, you can say that they'll go in a speed of uh, 2.5 to 5 mach. Okay, it's nothing, mach means it's a sound speed. Okay, one sound speed is 1 mach, so 2.5 mach or 5 mach, 2.5 to 5 mach speed the fighter aircrafts will go. So on those cases, this air resistance will play a crucial role. Okay, it need to be reduced, then only your aircraft will move fast. So that is what air resistance force is. Right, clear with air resistance force now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
uh, okay, I'm not having any definitions, you just note it down with your own words. Okay, right, so we can move for the next one. Next force is applied force. Okay, applied force is nothing but the example which we saw before, by pulling. Okay, like pulling the rope or kind of like that. Okay, or pushing something. Okay, anything that is that you apply there. Okay, that is what your applied force is. uh Wherever it is, like your, you know like this holding of this, okay, holding and pulling of this, that is also an applied force. Okay, anywhere you apply some force by yourself, that you call it as applied force, a name of this applied force. Okay, wherever this term comes, that means you're applying some force there, that is what it is. And right, so the next one will be spring force. Okay, so where you will be experiencing this spring force?
Ma'am, in pens.
In pens, right, where the springs are present, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
with springs, okay, so this force is nothing but it is be experienced with springs. Okay, where the spring action is being there. Okay, so such a way your force is there, means that you call it as spring force. And when it is compressed or stretched, okay, so this is where your compression will also come in play. But for tension, it is nothing but either side the pull. Okay, there only the tension force will be coming, a string being stretched. Okay, even the vibrations, like what to say, your guitar, okay, violin, those all are working because of this tension force. Okay, but this spring force is something called, applied in the pens. So there and all you can see the spring force. Okay, uh, right, so to say more about this spring force, the magnitude of the force is directly proportional to the amount of the stretch or the compression. Okay, so how much force, how much stretch or compression you are giving, okay, that much magnitude of force that spring will experience, thus your force is exerted. Okay, so this is what your spring force is. Clear with spring force?
Ma'am, I
Yes,
have a
ma'am.
doubt, ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am, shall we can take an example like the movement of longitudinal waves?
yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, you can have that also.
It can be applicable for non-touchable things also, ma'am. Like
uh,
sun, light, like that.
no, it should be stretched. It should be stretched or compressed, then only that action is what your spring force is, you know coming from.
Yes, ma'am. The longitudinal waves are not touchable, no, ma'am. Waves. Like that I'm asking.
Okay, not non-touchable you're saying.
Yes,
No,
ma'am. Not
that
touchable.
that action is what is needed. It's not you are touching it. Okay, that action is what needed there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Right. So we can go ahead. Okay. So now coming to non-contact forces. Okay. Okay, let me go for the place here. Okay. Non-contact forces. Non-contact force means there won't be any contact, but force will be there. Okay. So it acts through the spaces, okay, without making direct contact with the body, or called non-contact forces. Okay, it will act through space, and examples are gravitational force, okay, and electrostatic force. Electrostatic force means when you would have a classic example is nothing but when you use your uh, scale, okay, when you're having applied oil in your head and you scratch it and put it in over a
Ma'am, if we tear
papers.
up bits of paper means it will be
Yeah, no,
attracting.
bits of papers will be there and it will attract, some force is being applied, so that is also a example. Okay, so that is what they have shown here with the comb. Okay, that is what electrostatic forces, electricity is being generated, okay, charge is being generated on that. How that is happening means charge will be generated there. Charges, right, positive and negative charges which are responsible for your electricity. So electrostatic forces, something like that. Okay, you'll be studying more about this in your 11th standard. Okay, so just to give you a insight of that, electrostatic force is about charges. Okay, and magnetic force. Okay, so these are all some examples. Right, and some more forces are also there. Okay, that you can tell, anything you can come out with now for the non-contact forces.
Ma'am, movement of atoms, ma'am.
Movement of atoms.
Ma'am, electrostatic force.
Electrostatic, which we already saw, right. It's nothing but three forces. One is gravitational, the next one is electrical, and the next one is magnetic. Okay, these are the three forces, and from there only every other things will be derived. Okay, these are the common three forces. And to say gravitational force, okay, it's nothing but mg. Okay, your magnetic and your electrical forces, you'll be seeing it in your 11th standard. It's a very vast which subjects they are, so you'll be having them, right. Okay, so we'll move ahead now. Okay, right. So these are the forces, about the forces. Okay, clear with all the forces which I have told? Any doubts still in your
No
minds?
doubts. No doubts.
No doubt,
Okay,
ma'am.
we'll move. So now something called net force. Okay, you need to just know about this. What is net force? So when multiple forces act on a body, they can be resolved into one component. Okay, that is known as a net force. Like here you can see here this one. Okay, so there is a multiple forces being acted, right? 5n, 5n, 7n. Okay, all these forces are being acted, and you see finally this object is being arrived with a 3 Newton force. Can anyone say what has happened here? Why they have written it in this way?
Ma'am, they've
Ma'am, the
added forces on the same
force
side and subtracted from the other side.
Correct. Okay. So they are nothing but added them. See, the balanced forces always, when balanced forces are there, they won't create any movement. So the excessive force only the responsible ones for the movements and all. So what we'll do? So as as here you see 10 Newton force is being applied through different materials. Let's say this is one person, this is one person. So through two objects, two kind of forces with totally coming with us with 10 Newton forces. And here in opposite way, 7 Newton forces being applied. So to say this 10 Newton, from this 10 Newton, as they are being opposite, 7 Newton will be subtracted and the rest 3 Newton only will be acting on this side. So we can say that you just omit all these and write your 3 Newton. So this object will be moving with a force of 3 Newton in this direction only. Okay, so this is what your net force is.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
ma'am, when we push a wall, ma'am,
yeah.
it doesn't move, either we don't move, ma'am. Like both doesn't happen. Neither we nor the wall, ma'am. Does that mean a force is not enough, ma'am, or the net force is zero, ma'am?
Okay. Well, what happens in a wall? Okay, so here is a wall, and you're pushing. Okay, say you're having a 3 Newton force. Okay, so okay, because of the object being very big, okay, it doesn't mean that your force is not applied, but to say in the physical terms, it is a net force being zero only. Okay, because no change has been appeared there, right? So you can just give your thought like 3 newtons is being applied. Okay, but overall there has been no motion is being applied, so you can't say anything, but your force is being applied, so 3 Newton is your net force there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am,
Okay,
and force is a vector quantity, ma'am.
yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
yeah.
ma'am, I have studied somewhere, ma'am. Like this, if the force is very lesser than the object, it acts like a reflector, ma'am. Force will be reflected to us, so it
Yeah,
will
you
be.
will be experiencing the opposite negative force on you, but you won't be moving, but you will be experiencing that on your hand. No, the heavy weight you're when you put your force on a moving cart, it will be very less, but you when you put your force on a wall, okay, it will be more, even though you are using the same force. Okay, whatever you are giving out, there will be same force, like it will be reflected over you and you will be experiencing, but it depends upon your how much force you are giving out there. Okay, even in some cases like to say what, um, even when you put more force on your wall, okay, that it you will start to move backwards also. So that will also happen at sometimes. You can't put more force over there. Okay, after some time you'll be no left without energy and you'll be stumbled. Okay, but at certain point you will also move backward. Your legs will move backward. Like you will be kidding. Okay, that kind of actions will be happening there. Okay, it's a reflective.
Ma'am, and I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am, is net force and resultant force are same or different, ma'am?
they are same.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right? Clear for everyone about the net force?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, we'll move ahead now. Yeah, now we'll talk something called Newton's laws of motion, which we already knew, I guess. You all know this, right? Newton's laws of
Yes,
motion.
ma'am.
Right. Okay, we'll just go through this again. Okay, so your first laws. Okay, your first law is nothing but every body continues in its state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line unless it is compelled by some external force to change that state. So this is what your Newton's first law. Okay, it says that your body will be continuing in the same way. Okay, unless it is acted by some external force. If it is in the rest, it will be in the rest. If it is in the motion, okay, with some motion it is being there, it will be moving. Okay, it won't stop unless or until some external force is being given, and this condition is for the universe. Okay, where so this law will be applied for the universe. So like you can't compare it with when you're turned off your engine, why my car is stopping at some point. We can't apply that. Okay, but this is a case for some object in the universe, totally where in the vacuum. Okay, like you can say the earth's movement and all. Okay, it is in a continuous motion, right? So it won't stop unless or until some another external force is being there, and you call this as a law of inertia also. Okay, inertia, some term is also being acted over here. Okay, so anyone know about inertia?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah.
Ma'am, the inherent property of the body to change its to change its state of rest, ma'am, or
Okay.
uniform motion.
Right. So it is, inertia is nothing but a term for the body itself, right? So whether it is having, capability of moving out or staying there, okay, so that is what your inertial state is. Okay, some body is in an inertial state means it is in a continuous motion or in a rest phase, that you can say. Okay, and law of inertia means only an external force will change your motion of your inertial body. Okay, clear what is first law? And if clear, can anyone give an example for this first law? What kind of example can be given for your first law? Is the first law is clear for you all? What it says? Why so silent?
Ma'am, cycling, ma'am.
Cycling. Cycling.
It's a type of uniform motion, ma'am. But if some external force, if we stop only, it will be stopped like that. I don't know the correct explanation, ma'am, but I understand it. But
Okay. Okay. Okay then. Let's try some other also. Some other examples. Can anyone come up with?
ma'am, body at rest, stable equilibrium of the body.
What, Hatika?
Ma'am, could you able to hear me, ma'am?
Yeah.
Stable equilibrium of the body, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So if a body is at rest means if not anything is going to touch, it will be in that position itself, right? That is also an example for your first law, right? Or else where you can experience this inertial motion. Okay, right. So this is what it is. Okay, unless upon when you're acting, some body gains that some force you're giving, so your change won't be there. Okay, and your inertia, okay, where you can experience this inertia means your body will be tending to move in the same pace. So that is what inertia is. Okay, your body will tend to move in the same pace. If it is a motion, it will tend to travel in the same pace. If it is in the rest, it will be staying in the rest itself. Okay, so how we can say this is, the usual example is when you move in a car or bus, okay, it is being coming to a stop. Okay, what will happen? You will bend forward, right? Or when your bus is starting, okay, you are being rest, okay, and you will move backward. Okay, you will move backward. So these are the two cases. Being at rest, suddenly a motion being given, okay, so that you bending backward is called as inertial nature of your body. Okay, that it will tend to be there in that position itself. And when you're moving, okay, sudden a stop is coming, then you'll move ahead. Okay, being in the same continuous motion itself. Okay, that nature is called as inertial nature of a body. Okay, clear? What is inertial nature of a body? Okay, it's a part of your first law itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Just take a note of this. Okay, a bit of note, like inertial nature of a body or inertia of a body is nothing but the body to be tending to, stay at its uniform, at its state. Okay, at its state itself, being it a rest or a uniform motion, either of that, it will be staying in the same state. Okay, that nature of the body is called, it is something of the body. Okay, inertia is something of the body. So the nature of the state of the body is called inertia, right? So this is what your first law is. Now second law, okay, this is a very important law. Okay, and your second law is very simple. It is nothing but rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to your impressed force and takes place in the direction of the force. Okay, so before talking about the second law, what is momentum? What is momentum? No idea about momentum. Right then, okay, I'll explain. Okay, what is momentum? So when you know about the momentum, then the second law will be easier for you. Okay,
Ma'am,
yeah,
I didn't hear you properly, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
yeah. Now you're clear.
Ma'am, your voice is very feeble for me.
Feeble for all.
For me also,
Ma'am, for me, it's like swallowing words. For me, it's like that, ma'am. I can't even hear anything, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Now it is clear. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am. It's fine, ma'am.
It's okay. Okay. What happened? So for everyone, it is the same, or for just Vidula?
For me, it is
Ma'am,
correct.
for me, sometimes your voice breaking.
for me sometimes, ma'am, but now it's clear, ma'am.
No, it's clear. Okay. For Ashna, it is clear. For Annabelle, it is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Then okay. If it's okay, right, Vidula, for now.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
It's fine, ma'am.
okay.
I'll increase the volume, ma'am.
Right. Then we'll go ahead. Okay. So do you people know about momentum, or should I say? All right. Anyone can give me a gist before I'm explaining that? Right. Okay. I'll give you. Okay. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Ma'am, it's like a product of mass and velocity, ma'am, or the movement in the direction of force, like that, ma'am.
Okay. It's nothing but it's a product of motion and the velocity. Okay. So your momentum is okay. Momentum of an object. It's an important term. Okay. You'll be using more times. Okay. So you should be clear with what is momentum first before entering to those parts. Okay. So momentum is nothing but mass into velocity. The definition is nothing but mass into velocity, and it will be represented with p. Okay. And to say what is momentum, the amount of okay mass plus the velocity are contained in a body together. Okay. To say an example, okay, a bowler is bowling, okay, and a shot has been hit, and a catcher is going to catch the ball. Okay, that time, okay, your ball will be possessing some velocity, and also your ball will be having some weight of its own. Okay, together both of them will have will let you have some more force. That is what momentum is. So there you'll tell, okay, it is coming in that force or not. Okay, you won't say that it is coming in such an acceleration. No. Okay, you will say that that object is having this much momentum in it, that it is a combination of the mass plus the velocity, because uh, even with velocity it won't be appropriate because the mass is also there, and that is also a key factor for that ball to move. Okay, because when you throw a feather it won't go much harder. Okay, with the even with the same velocity it won't go much farther or something, but with some kind of weight being there it will travel to some point. That is where the importance of mass combined with the velocity is coming. Okay, so that case you will tell that this is having some momentum. Okay, and that momentum means nothing but mass combined with velocity. Okay, so you will say a mass is combined with my velocity, so that is being received by the catcher. Okay, so that is what momentum is. Clear with momentum?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
everyone got what is momentum, right? Okay, we'll now see about your second law, rate of change of momentum of a body. Okay, so Rate of change of momentum means what it is. Rate of change of momentum, what you will do for a rate of change of. Anything coming to your mind?
Ma'am, I know the formula.
It's a yes, it's coming like a formula.
Ma'am, MV minus MU, ma'am.
Right. Okay. MV minus MU, you can say. Right. The rate of change of means, uh, in spite of telling it like MV minus MU. Okay. So inside also it says that okay, let me go here. Okay. So V is your final velocity and U is your initial velocity, right? This is how your, you'll be terming them. And as U is being the initial velocity, and this is V is the final velocity. What is the parameter that decides this as initial and this as final?
Starting and the ending point, ma'am.
Starting and the ending point. Right. See, like it's not right. Okay. Yeah. Starting and the ending point. Okay. And even for starting and ending point, another parameter also there. Starting and ending point. Okay. Starting and ending point, we are saying, but that doesn't say that it always should be depending on your distance. So you meant distance only, right, Vidula? The parameter as. Is it so? You meant about the distance? Vidula, can you hear me?
Ma'am?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Okay. So here you see, so you meant about the distance, right? When you said about the initial and final point.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, okay. So see, uh, even some cases, in some cases, your distance won't give you answers, like your circular motion. Okay, there your displacement is nothing but a zero. So then what parameter will be telling you about the initial and final velocities or initial and final points? The one parameter which won't stop.
Time and distance, ma'am. Time and
Yeah,
displacement.
time it is. Okay, so it is nothing but the time. So with comparison, okay, the initial and final means with comparison with the time only this initial and final are being determined. So it is a time being the parameter here. So your rate of change of means nothing but something is related to time. With time, what changes is being happening? Okay, rate of change of. Okay, it means that with time something is happening. So what it is? That is what. Okay, so that's why rate of change of momentum means, see here, dp by dt. Okay, dp by dt they are saying. So dp by dt means your rate of change of momentum divided by time. And this dp and dt, what it means is, okay, difference. Okay, here is what your initial and final is coming. Let's say p1 is your initial and p2 is your final. You will be having it like this. Okay, this is what your dp means. That's why they've just given us dp, which means that initial and final momentums. And dt is nothing but your final time minus your initial time. That is what dt is. So your difference in the time momentum and difference in the time, okay, will give you your rate of change of momentum. Okay, so that is what your rate of change of momentum. And by second law, what it says is your rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the impressed force. Okay, so let's say what, that ball is coming, okay, momentum, that ball having the momentum, it's coming, okay. So from the time, okay, from some time to some time, it has been traveled some distance. Let's omit about the distance and all, okay. So it has been traveled to some place with some momentum and some velocity with the time as a parameter, okay. So that, and that also inside this momentum will be, because the velocity will not be same, right? At the initial point it will be more, and to the down it will be reducing. So there is a continuous change of velocity. So such a velocity change is there, that that means the momentum is also changing. So change in momentum accompanied with a change in time, okay, at last when you reach, when your hand is reaching, that you call it as force, right? Even when I first gave you this, I told you force, some force you will be experiencing, right? So that is what your second law is saying about, okay. Your rate of change of momentum with the time will give you the force, okay. Clear what I meant for you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is what your second law says. Force is nothing but rate of change of momentum with time, okay. And this result, okay, this result can be written as F is equal to ma. So this is what has changed as F is equal to ma. How this is changed? See, we have already saw about the displacement, okay, and we know about the velocity, and we know about the acceleration part and all, right? So what is display, what is velocity? How you can tell about velocity?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, what is, how you can tell about velocity in terms of displacement?
Displacement by time, ma'am.
Displacement by time, but displacement means it is not, yeah, displacement by time means that is depending on the time. So there also you can say that it is nothing but rate of change of displacement, okay. So rate of change of displacement, say this rate of change of displacement, I am just putting s for the displacement. It is what your velocity v is, and rate of change of velocity is what? Have we discussed about this already? In the motion we discussed, right, about acceleration and all. Did we?
Yes, by T, ma'am.
S by t is what? Your velocity, right? Displacement by time. And velocity being changing with time means what you call that?
Acceleration, ma'am.
Acceleration. Nothing but your acceleration, okay. So how you can write this is nothing but ds by dt. And how you can write this? Dv by dt, okay. So these are the factors, okay. So rate of change of displacement is what? Velocity. And rate of change of velocity is what? Your acceleration, okay. So and you can write them as ds by dt and dv by dt. So now coming to this point, so dp by dt we are saying, let's say that this d is there into p divided by dt, okay. What is this p? What is the formula for p?
MV minus MU, ma'am.
mv, let's say mv alone, okay, because
Yes.
we are already having this differentiation. That itself implies that there is a change in the initial and final points, okay. So we need not to write mv minus mv. So mv it is. So here you see mass is some constant, right? So it won't be changing with time. So I am taking my mass outside, and I can write the dv by dt, okay. So now what is dv by dt?
Acceleration.
Right. See, this is what your formula is. F is equal to ma. So we have already, we have seen this, no? F is equal to ma, F is equal to ma. And how it has been derived means it is derived from the second law through this, in this way. So this is what your force is. Okay, clear with the second law?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Anyone having any doubts in this?
No, ma'am, no doubt, ma'am.
No doubt, right? Okay. So next one is your third law. Okay. So third law is nothing but to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So how you can say that is f of ab. Let's say that some force is given to a to b. Okay, there is a, and to b it has given some force, and f of minus a to b will be coming there. Okay, from your b also some force will be exerted. So that is what your every action is having an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so any example for this, no, other than this one which has been
I'm
displayed?
pushing something.
Ma'am, bouncing of ball, ma'am.
Bouncing of ball. Bouncing of ball, yeah, you can have bouncing of ball, correct.
I'm pushing a thing, ma'am.
Pushing a thing. Pushing, is it so? Pushing? How in what circumstances pushing a thing is coming up?
Ma'am, I think she's saying on the wall basis, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, not only wall, ma'am. When you push your friend, ma'am, there is of course a force exerted from her body or his body, no, ma'am. They push us back, no, ma'am. When they fall, there's some force exerted on us, no, ma'am.
Right. Let's say that is a normal force which is being, coming out of her body. That will be coming. Yeah. So in that case, you can take like that. Yeah. But it can't be taken as a solid example. Okay. Can we go for some other example?
Swimming, ma'am.
Swimming. Swimming. So how swimming, Hardika?
Ma'am, when we push the water backwards, ma'am, it pushes us the front. So like that.
Okay. Yeah, that can also be taken as third law, but something else is being done there. Okay, we'll be studying about that also later. Okay, so that is also something third laws, third laws thing.
Ma'am, frictional force also acts on this basis, ma'am.
Frictional force. Frictional force is not like this. Okay, frictional
Yes,
force is something which is which will take you in that direction itself.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you can say that wherever some action is there, see in this case frictional force is also there happening there, but something else is being also there. Like see, your action is being like pushing your or rowing your boat. You are moving the water to your backwards, and you are moving front in a boat.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am, sorry for disturbing, ma'am. Ma'am, I got one example, ma'am.
you got one
For
example.
third law. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, go on, Gopika.
Ma'am, tug of war.
Tug of war. Yeah, tug of war is also an example. When they, yes, see, when you walk itself, that is a third law application. Okay, because of third law only you are walking properly, that you can say. Because see that that is happening, right? Your mg being happening like this and your net force being there, this is what third law is to say. So everybody is having a third law being experienced like that. And to more precisely clearly to experience that, this is some example where your action is backward and you are moving forward. Okay, right. Any more examples, innovative examples?
Flight of the bird, ma'am.
Flight of the bird, yeah, correct.
Ma'am,
Flight of the
even
bird.
rocket launching.
Exactly. Okay, rocket launching is based on this principle, third law only. Okay,
Propulsion
where
of that.
propulsion is because of that. Good. Right, that's all.
Ma'am, just a idea, ma'am. When we fire a bullet, ma'am, we'll just in movies they will be showing, ma'am. Just a movement, little bit backwards, they'll be showing, ma'am.
Yeah, that is also third law. Good. It's called recoiling. Okay, so obviously that will happen because your bullet is being fired and some force is being exerted and your shoulder will be moving backward. In some cases, if you are not that much strong, you'll fall back with a bullet. No, not with some small revolvers and all, but with some other missionary guns. Like you can see that some machine guns are not even placed in your arms. It won't be in your arms itself. It will be placed in the ground with a stand. A complete perfect platform will be there. Then only you can fire, because it's exerting, recoiling force will be much more that you can't even grasp it. So that's why they are being fixed underneath. That's a good example.
What about
Ma'am,
what about climbing a mountain, mom?
Climbing a mountain,
Mom,
that is
with a rope, mom.
with a rope. How you are saying, Ashna?
They go like adventures, no, mom. They like climb like up to the mountain, mom.
Yeah, they okay. I'm not getting the third law being applied there. Like how you
Mom,
are
no, mom.
saying.
Like the rope, mom, like pulls up the climb, mom. The climbing thingy, mom, and then the climbing thingy like pulls down the rope, mom. So it can be third law, no, mom.
Okay, you're saying that one end to the other end, one being going downward with the same force, the other being going upward. That you're saying.
Yes, mom.
Okay, that's a kind of pulley action, right? Yeah. What you can say about that? It's not an opposite reaction though. Okay, from the ground we can say that it is coming down, but it's going up. But through the rope, it is something which is an applied force being acting on that object, right, Ashna?
Yes, mom.
Okay. And so we
ma'am,
can.
and another one example about ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if we blow a balloon and if we leave the balloon, the some force, the air will be reducing. So,
The air will be reducing.
ma'am, no, ma'am, if we blow the balloon
Okay.
and if we lift the balloon, is that the third law?
Ma'am, it's like if we blow the balloon, ma'am, and we just break it off. Some force will be there, no, ma'am.
Okay, but
Ma'am, I think she's saying like this, ma'am. If we compress the balloon, means the balloon will be break, ma'am. Thinking, no, ma'am. It will be bursting, no, ma'am.
the bursting action that won't come as no. For your action is not some reaction is being there, right? Because your action and reaction should be simultaneous there. Okay.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. When the balloon releases the air moves downwards and the balloon moves upwards. No, ma'am, I'm saying that.
Okay, you're saying that reversely. Yes, Sash. Yeah. Who's that?
Yes.
Who said that?
Ma'am, go pick ma'am.
Okay, right. Yeah, that is also right. Okay, then I think you're familiar with this third law, how it applies. Okay, so it's something like when you apply the force itself, okay, there should be an opposite reaction in the opposite direction. Okay, some opposite reaction should be there against your action. So both of them are simultaneously happening, then you call it as third law is being applied there. Okay, right. Okay, we'll move ahead now. Okay, we already saw about momentum. Okay, and right, so momentum we finished. Now coming for the impulse. Okay, impulse is something, no, force. It is also a force which is defined as the change in the momentum produced by the force, and it is equal to the product of the force and the time for which it acts. Okay, so it's nothing but for how much time your force is being there. Okay, along with time, how much time your force is being there. So that is what your impulse is. Okay, how long your force is being in contact with that, how much force is being given, and how long. Together, you call it as impulse. A sudden impulse means at the time Okay, with what much time has been taken for that force has been impacted on you, that you call it as an impulse. Okay, together with time. So that you represent it with J. J is equal to F into T. Okay, and that is nothing but your change in your momentum. Okay, in this way also you can say that. Okay, how we can say it in momentum means, see, momentum is nothing but mv. Okay, and a change in momentum plus time it is coming. So your change in momentum will be having mv, right, divided by t, and with t, tt will get cancelled. That's why it is nothing but your change in momentum. Okay, without time, your change in momentum, or else the force with time. So in this way you can tell your impulse, what is your impulse being. Clear how I did this? Else I'll show you once again. Right, right. So here you see F into T. F is nothing but ma, or you can say that it is your momentum divided by time. Okay, so momentum is nothing but mv, or let's say let p by t. Okay, p by t is what your f is equal to, and this you can write it as mv by t. Okay, so if I am saying for impulse, in the case of impulse, if I am substituting this, j is equal to f into t, so mv by t into t will be coming. When I substitute this force value here, then tt will get cancelled. And to say that is, this is all change in momentum, right? So d and dt will be coming everywhere. Okay, so that I didn't write. Okay, so this d and dt will be coming everywhere. So change in momentum, j is nothing but mv minus mv. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so like there are no, how you can say is, one thing is the force along with the time, or your change in momentum. So your impulse can be told in these two ways also. Okay, so impulse is something where your force is given for a particular time. Together with that you can explain your impulse. Okay, any doubts in the impulse part? No doubts?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Then if clear means, can anyone give the example for impulse?
Ma'am, in cricket, ma'am,
In cricket? Yeah, in cricket.
catching of ball, ma'am, they will not just go and catch, ma'am. They will be just keeping their hand till back and then they'll be catching.
Ha. No, no, not like that. It means that force should be there with the time also. Okay, so it's, maybe you can say that your ball being hitted by a bat. Okay, like for how much second is it is being touching your bat, and it is being left. Okay, so that time plus the force, how much force has been given. Okay, your bat got an impulse. Okay, that you call it as an impulse. The impulse together with the time, so till how much time it has been in the intact, the force is being intact, so that you call it as impulse. So bat, no, the hitting of bat you can say, or after catching also you can say. Okay, how much time that force is being experienced your with your hand, like when
Ma'am,
you, yeah.
ma'am, I'm saying, excuse me,
Okay,
ma'am.
yeah, now
Ma'am,
say.
ma'am, it's like if we catch the ball directly, ma'am, the more force will be there, ma'am. But if we keep the hand back, means our force will be a little bit reduced, ma'am. Because As
Okay,
time,
you're telling
time
that
has
moving
increased.
backward.
Yes, ma'am. Like
Okay,
that.
yeah, that you got, that you can tell. Okay, after catching, moving backward, the force is being reduced, but the force is being intact also. That you call it as impulse. Okay,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yeah.
Ma'am, we can say, for example, playing
Badminton, yeah, you can say. Actually, when you say this, when you see this impulse, what you understand it, you can find it everywhere. Okay, this impulse is being wherever the force is, there will be impulse, because time is always running, right? So time won't stop at any place. So wherever the force is there, there and all your impulse will be there.
Ma'am, and we can say while shooting.
Shooting, firing,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
yeah, firing, when you're firing the bullet being traveling, yeah, you can say the bullet, as long as it's having the force with the time, you can say it as an impulse, right? It, as I said, okay, wherever the force is, there and all your impulse will be there, because time is one thing which won't stop for anyone, so it will be running along. Clear?
Ma'am, and I have another one example. I don't know whether it's correct or not.
Okay, go on.
Example, airbag, it will be reducing.
Airbag being reducing.
No, ma'am, if some accidentally occurs, the airbag comes out, ma'am. So, when
Okay,
we'll be
that's
moving
being
front, ma'am, so
suddenly
that,
busting and it's being impacting you, that you're saying.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, for some time. Yeah, you can have, no, you can say it at any place, you can say it, as I told. Wherever the force is there, there will be the time, impulse will be there. That also you can take. Right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So shall we move ahead now? Okay, we'll saw this one last thing, and no, we'll see the next rest and all in the last next class. Right. Okay. So we'll see this now. The apparent weight of a man inside a lift. Okay, there's something which you'll be which we have already knew about, right? We have studied in the gravitation itself. When it is having some accelerations, with along with the accelerations, how it will be, and lift is a perfect example for that. Okay, right. The lift is where you'll experience it more times. Else you can experience it in some other places also. We'll see about the examples later. So now for this, okay, we can have three conditions in a lift. Okay, one the stationary, and another one lift being having some acceleration. Okay, and how that acceleration is there. So first case is the lift possesses a zero acceleration, that it means it won't move at all. Okay, being stationary, okay, elevator that is being stopped. So in that case, you see this picture here. That case, your acceleration of your lift is zero. Okay. So that and also your what kind of action energy will be there according to your weight of the lift? It will be just mass into gravitational acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So whatever the being possessed there, okay, that mass into that acceleration due to gravity, that alone will be there on this body. Okay, rest of the force, rest of the parameters won't work. So your elevator will have just the weight of mg alone. Then in the next case, the lift moving upward with an acceleration of a. So lift elevator up, okay, elevator up, and your acceleration is nothing but, here also your acceleration is having, okay, your lift is having some acceleration. So what it will happen, so as it is moving upward, okay, your ma will be there. Okay, right, your mg will be added with your ma, because your mass plus acceleration, it is moving upward, and your downward force is also there. Okay, so that is mg. Okay, together with that, a double time force will be there in the down part. Okay, one is that your acceleration which is moving upward, and another is your mg which is being in the downward. So both of them acting in the same way, you'll have 2 mg. Okay, because your acceleration here also you'll consider it as g, because it is moving with respect to your gravitational pull. So that cases when it is moving upward. That is why when you move upward, okay, you feel like heavy weighted. Okay, means your weight must be increased by a number of that acceleration. Okay, what acceleration it is being, the lift being having, that much your mass will be added upon that, twice of your mass plus that acceleration, so all will be acting upon you. And in the case of your lift moving downwards, okay, so on that case, your lift it is moving in a acceleration of a. Okay, and already you're having a weight of mg, and you're also moving with a mass, okay, which is with an acceleration that is a, and you will be facing something which is moving upward. Okay, your body will be facing something upward, and that is nothing but your mg only. Okay, so thus your mg which is downward with the gravitational force, and because of this elevator moving downward, mg will be acting on the upward, both of them will get cancelled and your weight will become zero. So on a moving elevator being the downwards, you won't have weight. Okay, when it is moving in a same, no, the acceleration, if it is being becoming equal, then your mass, no weight will be there on you. Okay, so that is what this case is, the third case is explaining, right? Clear with all these three?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any
Yes, ma'am.
doubts arriving with this?
No, ma'am, no doubt.
Yeah, ma'am.
No doubt, right? Okay, so where else you can experience the same lift property, your apparent weight?
In
Yeah,
a free falling object, ma'am.
yeah, in a free falling object, right?
I'm in space.
In space,
There will be no force acting on the existence.
uh, not in space. In the space, see, this apparent weight is something related to your gravitational force. So you need gravitational force, and in the space you won't have gravitational force, right? Okay, so else you can say that you can again take the examples of your airplanes. Okay, so there also you'll be having your minus g and plus g being acted upon you. Okay, when the aircraft is being taken, okay, taken off, okay, then you'll be having your weight is being increasing. Okay, you can feel that, and when it is landing, your weight will become reduced. Okay, that's why that sensation in your stomach and all, your weight being, okay, reversed, your weightlessness, suddenly your something happens like that, then your body will directly feel that. Double the weight, to some extent you can face, but no weight, you are new to that, right? So that's why that stomach ache and all in a giant wheel also. So there
Ma'am,
and all,
roller coaster, ma'am.
yeah, roller coasters. Okay, so there, those places you can experience them clearly, how this apparent weight is acting on you. Okay,
Ma'am, when we're traveling like in high hills, ma'am.
high hills you won't be having
Ma'am,
weight.
doubt, ma'am.
What, Vidula?
Ma'am, that was a doubt, ma'am. I have a doubt, ma'am.
You are having a doubt. Okay, like
When,
there
when
you,
we,
yeah,
no, ma'am. Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. I'll complete it, ma'am.
yeah, go on.
Ma'am, different question. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am, when we're traveling up, ma'am, uh, at that time, ma'am, will our weight be little less, ma'am, because gravity increases in height, no, ma'am.
yeah,
So our weight will be little less.
maybe it will be lesser than the weight in ground, but it won't be much of a difference. You can't find it actually.
Ma'am, this property acts in propulsion of rocket, no, ma'am. As it
Propulsion of,
moves, as altitude increases, the velocity or the weight of the rocket becomes less, so it is easy for it to go upward.
yeah. In rocket, you can, yeah, in rocket, what Vidula said can be applied. Okay, but not in the hill station because the distance is very less. You are not moving much.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't want to act rude, ma'am, but
Yeah.
I said I wanted to complete the question, ma'am. I didn't want to act rude, ma'am, but it just came.
Okay, you have not completed it yet.
No, ma'am. Like when I said I wanted to complete the question, ma'am. It was a
No,
little
no,
bit
no.
rude.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. Okay. So
Ma'am,
this is what
parachute, ma'am.
parachute, of course. Okay, you'll be facing some minus G completely. Okay. Yeah. You'll be coming downwards. So your gravitational force will be cancelled. Okay, because of your because of your acceleration. Okay, then you'll be having the weightlessness. So that is also a case.
Ma'am, inside water also the same thing happens, ma'am.
Inside water.
Yes, ma'am.
Inside
Uh,
water, yeah, it will happen, but it is not, no, we can't even travel to that much distance in inside water because see, more distance is needed, so you can't go to some depth because the pressure is another factor which will not let you to go more distance. So you can't, that is you can't experience that one thing.
but that can happen, ma'am.
Yes. So there will also the same thing, but like when you go downwards more, your plus G will be coming more. Okay, like you'll gain weight. When you're moving upwards inside water, the case will be reversal, I'm saying. Okay, when it is in atmosphere, when it is in the downward, because we already saw, right? This is our earth, means on the surface only your G is 9.8. Okay, but when you move downwards it will reduce, when you move upwards it will reduce. So in this case, when you're moving upwards it is continuously reducing, when you move downwards it is continuously reducing. So downwards reducing, so when you come up your weight will gain. You'll have, when you come up you will be having the minus G. When you go down you'll be having plus G, that you will gain weight when you move down. Okay, are you
Yes,
getting what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Okay, so right. Any doubts other than this?
ma'am. I have read in a news magazine, ma'am. In that they've written like something equator, difference of weight in equator and polar region. They said, ma'am.
Okay.
Why it happens, ma'am? I
Yes.
like
Okay.
at one place it will be greater and other place it will be less, like that it has been. I read somewhere, ma'am, but I forgot it. Total sentence I forgot, ma'am. But
Right, I'm getting you. But before giving your answer, others do others know the answer for this? Why it is happening? Or anyone else? Why in equator and polar your weight being becoming different, or your 9.8 the gravitational pull is being different? No one knows. Okay, then this is no, this is something which I unexpected. We already had the gravitation class, right?
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
Yeah, in gravitation, did I tell you what happens in poles and equators to your gravity?
Ma'am, in between two classes, I did not attend, ma'am, due to exams.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, what did you ask, ma'am? From that time, my net is not.
Okay, so I asked about that your weight or your gravitational pull being differing with equator and your poles. That is what Hardika's question is.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. It will be high on the surface of the earth, ma'am. And in the center region or the equatorial region, also it will be same, no, ma'am.
Ma'am, on the surface, I'm saying, ma'am.
On the surface only. On the surface only. See, it's because of your Earth's shape. Okay, it's all because of your Earth's shape. What is our Earth's shape?
Geoid.
Geoid, right? Geoid means, is that a sphere?
A
Ma'am, not
sort of,
exactly a sphere, ma'am. Some modifications.
ma'am.
Okay, what modifications is your geoid having from a sphere?
Little bit elongated, ma'am.
At where?
Uh, in
At one part.
center,
Okay, let's say at one part it is being elongated, at one part is being submerged. Okay, like that. So let's say that this is, sorry, this, somewhat like this, right? This is how our Earth is also there. Okay, so see, if it is a sphere, let's say this is a perfect sphere and this is a geoid or oblate spheroid. Okay, both the names are same. So if this is a sphere and you see every place is same, and so 9.8 will be working on all over the place. Okay, 9.8 also, like yeah, 9.8 will be working on all this place. And here you see this place, it's more distant than this place, right? This place will be nearer to the center. Let's say this is the center. Let's say this is the center. Okay, this one will be nearer and this one will be more. Okay, with distance, I told you, with distance your gravity will be reducing, and so here your distance is less. That's why your poles will be having much more gravitational pull than your equators. It depends on the distance. Okay, Hardika.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is the reason the gravity differs in various places, ma'am.
Yes, but it's not like much of a difference. Again, okay. Like to say, like some point 0.5 difference, not 0.5, 0.05 difference. That is what it is. Maximum is, I'm not sure of the values now. Okay. It will be something like 9.78 for one and 9.8 for something. Okay, like that only. The difference will be very minute, less than, very much less than the 0.05. Okay,
Yes.
so it's not much of a difference, but your weight will be more in your poles than in your equators. That is obvious though. Okay, clear for you, Hardika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, still you're mumbling.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
towards the center, gravitation will increase, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, decrease, no, ma'am.
Decrease, ma'am. In center, I have read somewhere, ma'am. All the particles will be moving, floating like that.
Yes, when you go this way, that's why in the depth also gravitational pull will become reduced, it will reducing, and away from this also reducing. On the surface only your gravitational pull will be more.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
for this explanation and all, go on again, read your gravitational chapter again. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
right. Okay, there it will be very clear why it is happening. When you move downward, your gravitational pull being reducing. Okay, it's nothing but moving upward will be very simple. You are not intact with the earth, so you are moving away. That's why your gravitational pull is reducing. But moving downwards is also your something where your gravitational pull will be reducing. That is of some reason. Go through your stuffs again in the gravitation chapter. You'll be getting that. Okay. In shall we end the class, kids?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what was taken last Wednesday, ma'am? Chemistry, the heading alone, ma'am. I didn't attend the class.
Last Wednesday.
Carbon and its compounds, ma'am. We saw isomers,
Yeah.
alkenes,
Today is
alkynes.
back only, Annabelle.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, carbon and its compounds.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, kids. Shall we end the session now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, mom.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.